Hello everybody, Steak Belmont here. Happy Halloween season, and welcome to the first Steak's Strange Pages, where I look into the tomes and dissect the contents within. Tonight, we're diving into something dark, cold, and full of paranoia. Who Goes There by John W. Campbell Jr., the novella that haunted the shape-shifting soul of John Carpenter's The Thing. Now, if you've seen The Thing, and love the suspense, or if you've heard of the story but never read it, I want to take you on a ride through both versions. What the book does, what the film does, where they collide, and where they diverge. And whether the original holds up as something terrifying in its own right. Now, MacReady, spelled with an extra E in the book, is the main character. Campbell describes him like a bronze statue brought to life. He's calm, hard, steady. Then you've got Blair, the biologist who eventually snaps, and Kenner, the scar-faced cook who can't handle the pressure. There are a lot more people in the book than in the movie. 37 men in total. It makes the paranoia worse, because you can't possibly know who's safe. The creature itself isn't the same as in the film. It's got 3 red eyes and blue worm-like hair. Definitely a creature of its time, but still unsettling. And there's something the movie never used. In the book, the Thing is telepathic. It can reach into people's dreams and plant ideas before it ever shows its face. Now that's creepy on a whole different level. Imagine having nightmares that aren't even yours. When the Thing wakes up, it happens fast. The first real fight is in the dog kennel. They electrocute it, and for a while, they think that's the end. But just like in the film, it's not. Blair figures out that it can imitate anything alive, and that realization breaks him. He destroys all the radios and vehicles, so no one can leave. He thinks he's saving the world, but really, he's just locking them all in with it. The blood test in the book is a lot more complicated than in the film. There's talk of rabbit blood, antibodies, serums. It's old school science fiction. The movie simplified it, and honestly, it works a lot better. Carpenter turned it into tense, unforgettable wire test. Now, not to say that it doesn't happen later on in the book, but as the book goes on, people start breaking down. Kenner, mentioned earlier, starts praying out loud, screaming psalms. Everyone's on edge. Then he's found dead, and maybe replaced. It's never fully clear. By the time the monsters start showing themselves, the men don't waste time with theories. They beat them to death on sight, no hesitation. No flamethrowers, just raw panic and survival. Near the end, they find out the Thing was building something. A machine that could make it fly out of there. Anti-gravity tech, so it wasn't just hiding. It was trying to leave Earth. That's a part that in the film was always very interesting to me. The idea that even though it attacks primordial style, it wasn't just a beast. It was thinking. It was smart. Now, John Carpenter took the same story and stripped it down to its most human parts. He cut the telepathy, dropped the big cast, and just focused on the fear between men. His version trades some slow explanation for pure tension. You can feel every ounce of dread in that movie, in my opinion. When they're all tied up for the blood test, the silence says more than any dialogue could. Carpenter also gave the monster a new kind of terror. He made it physical. Flesh, teeth, bone, you can see it. You can't look away, in fact. The effects still hold up, and that's because he understood the heart of the story isn't the alien, it's not knowing who to trust. The movie ends a little bit different than the book. Two men left watching each other through the cold, uncertain who's still human. In the book, after seeing an albatross, we had him stopped. Another half hour. It was just tightening these straps on the device so it could wear it. We'd have stayed in Antarctica and shot down any moving thing that came from the rest of the world. Speaking of the alien trying to escape, the albatross, MacReady said softly, do you suppose, with this thing almost finished, with that death weapon it held in its hand? No. By the grace of God, who evidently does not hear very well, even down here, in the margin of half an hour, we keep our world, and the planets of the system too. Anti-gravity, and atomic power. Because they came from another sun, a star beyond the stars. They came from a world with a bluer sun. What makes Who Goes There work even now? It's how simple the fear is. It's not about monsters, it's about identity. It's about how fragile trust really is, especially when survival's on the line. Now, the writing, it's old-fashioned, in spots, but the tension still works, and it makes you think. And if someone you loved got replaced, would you even know? That's the part that always gets me, both in the book and in the film. Kind of reminds me of zombie films as well. What would you do if a loved one was turned? What would you do if you really never knew the person you thought you knew? So if you've only seen The Thing, give the book a shot. It's different, but it's got that same cold heartbeat underneath. Thanks for hanging out by the fire tonight with me. Make sure to drop a comment and tell me which version you think is scarier. The written word, or what John Carpenter put on screen. Before we go, I'd like to read about the author for John Campbell Jr. 1910 to 1971, an American science fiction writer and editor. As editor of Astounding Science Fiction, later called Analog Science Fiction in fact, from late 1937 until his death, he is generally credited with shaping the golden age of science fiction. Among the authors he discovered or developed were Isaac Asimov, Robert Heinlein, Lester Del Rey, L. Sprague de Camp, A.E. von Valt, and Theodore Sturgeon. His last major discovery was Jerry Pournelle. So just that little bit there, I think, goes a long way to describe the influence that John W. Campbell had on the literary world. And as always, remember, stay in the light, watch your back, keep reading, and watch the skies. Until next time, this has been Steak.